Point to the conclave about what happens next from here. But there is going to be a Chicago element, of course. You interviewed Cardinal Cupich there talking about Pope Francis's life. What other Chicago connections are there going to be?
There will be 3 different cardinals from Chicago, not only Cupich, Wilton Gregory, as well as Robert Prevost. They are part of the voting cardinals. And yes, while no one really anticipates an American to become the next pope, these 3 Chicagoans play a very pivotal role. Cupich, as someone who is considered a friend of the Pope, Prevost is a top Vatican official, and then Wilton Gregory, one of the only Black American cardinal. And while he is retired, but he's under the age of 80, he is allowed to be a voting member.
So he'll get a vote.
They will all shape who is next.
And you've covered the church for decades, both the Chicago connection and broadly the Catholic Church. You're going to be going to Rome for this conclave.
I will be there for the conclave. Yeah. Yes, we were there at the last one. It'll be quite interesting, and we'll keep an eye on what happens.
Looking forward to everything that comes from that. Marianne, thank you so much for this morning. Now, of course, the end of Pope Francis's life is really the beginning of an age-old Catholic tradition. The process of selecting his successor. And NBC5 Investigates has what happens next, has been looking into leading contenders. Our investigative reporter, Chuck Gowdy, here has been covering the Vatican and the Church for decades and joins us here with some insight. So, Chuck, what can we expect from this point here?
Alex, who's next isn't just a favorite dinner party topic in Rome. The papal selection process is always underway, with names floated and cardinal contenders from the relatively small group of top Catholic churchmen who make up the College of Cardinals. And while it is an election, it is not a democracy. Rank and file Catholics don't get a vote. The next pope is chosen by 135 voting-age cardinals who were just invited by the Vatican to begin arriving tomorrow morning in Rome. Cardinals, the men in red caps and vestments, gather in a Vatican City conclave, as it's known, to begin electing a new pope 2 to 3 weeks from now, following the pope's funeral. As the current Hollywood movie Conclave portrays, they report to the famous Sistine Chapel for a closed-door, non-public selection. Eligible cardinals are those younger than age 80, and they choose the 267th pope by secret ballot. And here are the leading contenders right now, according to experts and even betting line odds, although these are guesstimates at best. Luis Antonio Tagle, a 67-year-old archbishop from the Philippines, known as the Asian Francis, because he lines up on the late Pope's social justice views. Pietro Parolin from Italy, 70 years old, considered more moderate and the Vatican Secretary of State right now. Peter Turkson from Ghana, age 76, would be the first African pope since 496 AD. Peter Erdo, Hungary, 72 years old, leading conservative candidate, would be a shift back to the Pope John Paul positioning. And Angelo Scola, Italy, an 82-year-old cardinal and perennial possibility, but he may have aged out. There, of course, are others in the running, and these are all cautionary possibilities. Remember, when the very popular Pope John Paul II was elected in 1978, he wasn't on anybody's list. So look for the long shot, the unknown, who might rise up and become a consensus figure. That's also how it plays out in the movies.
Was Francis considered a sure thing when he was elected, or was he also a long shot to become pope?
Right. He was not considered to be the front runner. He was on the list. The odds makers had him someplace as a possibility. But lately, it's been a little bit more scattered. And this time it may well be also because the world is much more adequately represented in the College of Cardinals these days.
And really quick, white smoke means or black smoke, what are we looking for?
Black smoke means they're still voting. White smoke means there's a new pope.
Need to be brushed up on that. It's been a couple of years. Thank you so much, Chuck. I appreciate it.